Welcome into another video where we're going through and testing all the weapons inside of MW3 to see how viable these weapons are for us to be using inside of our Zombies game mode. This is going to include the aftermarket parts, the aftermarket conversion kits, and today, the MW2 weapons as well. So if you're new around here and you'd like to see how weapons perform inside of Call of Duty Zombies, make sure you smash that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications because you're not going to want to miss any future uploads from myself. As well, down below in the description, you will find the link for my streams. I stream on Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream everything from MW3 Zombies all the way through to custom zombie maps and generally have a ton of fun over there. Would love to see you all come and hang out. And today, there's going to be a stream. So hopefully we'll see some of you there. Now in today's video, before we dive into anything review related, I want to touch base and just find out how far along everybody is inside of the Battle Pass. As you can see on screen, I've not been, smashing it out too quickly. I've got 88, 89% done. So very close to finishing the Battle Pass. As well, there's the new event, which I've barely had a chance to put a dent into. So let me know if any of you down below have unlocked the final animated camo and what you guys think of it. So today, before we get into the review, I definitely need to mention, as we are very close to 5,000 subscribers on the channel, which unlocks the 4th Black Ops 6 giveaway on the channel, and this one is going to be a Vault Edition on any platform of your choice. To be qualified, you simply need to be subscribed to the channel, liking and commenting on my videos. As well, with the growth of the channel, of course, the amazing Zhorde community Discord is growing as well, full of players that are willing to help out other players. If that sounds like something for you, the link for that can be found down below in the description. Now in today's video, with Season 6 being the season full of buffs to weapons, this one here, the ISO-9mm, got a pretty decent buff for Season 6. So in today's video, we're going to dive in, take a look at the ISO-9mm SMG from MW2, take that through all 3 tiers, taking on bounty contracts all the way through. So hopefully by the end of today's video, you have a really good feel for how this SMG performs inside of Call of Duty Zombies. And at the end of the video, after I exfil from the Dark Aether, you should be able to make up your mind on whether or not this is a viable weapon for you to be running inside of your Zombies game. So without further ado, let's dive into the ISO-9mm weapon review today. Welcome into today's video. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. I truly do appreciate that. Now today we're going to be looking at another one of the weapons that received a pretty substantial buff for Season 6. This is the ISO-9mm from MW2 and SMG. We've got the Orion camo on there, which with the update to Season 6 to the camo, I think it looks way better. So we're definitely going to be looking to keep that on. And we're running a spawn blueprint I picked up during MW2. So if you're new to my channel, when I spawn in and do weapon testing here, I put on all of my perks with no additions to the weapon to make it any stronger, off and pick up a first bounty contract inside of one to see how a base weapon rarity will handle a bounty contract inside of tier 1. The only addition I have that does run a little bit of extra damage would be running Deadshot Daiquiri, as I bring that every single match. I like the extra critical damage that it does provide. Now we went and picked up the first bounty contract of the day inside of tier 1, and this mimic was already showing me just how much potential the buff had on this SMG, as the critical damage I was seeing just at the base rarity on this was substantial, to say the least. I was feeling incredibly confident using this weapon on this bounty contract inside of tier 1. I did run out of ammo, so that's something I wanted to point out right off the hop, that I was definitely having some issues with ammo, but that wasn't a big deal. We finished off the bounty contract with a couple thermites to the head. Where's the reward rift? Huh? It's supposed to be like right there. Alright, guess I don't get one for that one. So the next thing to do is to head off and visit the Pack-a-Punch machine and increase the damage output on this SMG. To keep the camo blueprint I'm running, you want to melee the Pack-a-Punch machine before using it, wait for that center circle to turn green, and then go ahead and use the Pack machine or your Pack-a-Punch crystals to keep your blueprint camo combination on your weapon for the rest of the run. So now here we are at Pack-a-Punch 1, white rarity, no ammo mods on our SMG, and we went and picked up our second bounty contract of the day inside of tier 1, and we have another mimic to take on. But this time, you know, you can see the critical damage output is substantially more, and all we have done is visit Pack-a-Punch inside of tier 1 to increase the damage output on this just once. So I have no tools still, we still have no ammo mods, and that Mimic bounty contract was incredibly easy. Definitely no stress at all dealing with that. So at this point I was kind of excited to have some fun with our final bounty contract and really beef up the SMG for tier 1, as this is definitely a little overpowered to be inside of tier 1. Being legendary at this point, pack-a-punched, and an ammo mod on my weapon, I definitely can take care of absolutely anything coming my way inside of tier 1. So we went and picked up our bounty contract, and it was offering us a mangler for the final bounty contract inside of tier 1. And I mean, yeah, wow, these are so incredibly fun. Just tapping away and he's gone. Not much issue at all. So seeing this, I was like, okay, I definitely want to push into tier 2, and I don't want to take a detour and stop off at Pack-a-Punch to take the damage output to pack 2 yet. I want to see how this handles a bounty contract inside of tier 2, just being Pack-a-Punched 1, legendary with an ammo mod, and see, is this going to be something that is a viable option to be using inside of tier 2, being only Pack-a-Punched 1. We got a perfect test to find out just how viable this weapon is at pack 1 inside of tier 2, dealing with my least favorite bounty contract, a Disciple. Yay! But this one, for some reason, I'm guessing maybe because the storm was right next to us, was spawning in absolutely no riffraff and no zombie crowd control in the area. I was able to simply focus in 100% of my fire on the Disciple for the entirety of this Disciple fight, which made this incredibly awesome, and I felt like it was a great example of just how viable this can be even at just pack 1 inside of tier 2. So seeing how well we handled that Disciple, it was time to turn myself into my mobile pack-a-punch machine, which I keep in my handy-dandy pocket. We pulled that out and put the PAP2 crystal on my SMG, and we are now Pack-a-Punch 2 legendary with an ammo mod inside of tier 2. So it was time to grab another bounty contract inside of tier 2 and see how this is going to perform, being as close to, I feel, as strong as most players usually are going to be inside of tier 2. If they're not comfortable going into tier 3, most of the time they're going to be Pack-a-Punch level 2 inside of tier 2. So this is a good opportunity to see, you know, what kind of damage output you're going to be looking at if you choose to use this inside of your Zombies games. And I feel at pack 2 legendary with an ammo mod inside of tier 2, you're definitely going to be able to handle anything that comes your way. Bounty contracts, zombies, what have you. Amazing loot out of that bounty contract. Replace the Pack-a-Punch tier 2 crystal I just used on my weapon. So awesome to see. Now, as I was going into tier 3, I just wanted to take a moment to show you just how insanely busy tier 3 was for me today when I got in here. So I see some of you in the comments asking how come I've always got such dead tier 3s with, you know, only me in there. That's not always the case. So I definitely wanted to show you that sometimes when I come in here, it is literally like a shopping mall on a Black Friday. Absolutely insane. It is so busy that I was really wondering if getting a bounty contract was even going to be like a thing. Like, I did not know if I was going to be able to get one. I don't bring in a Scorcher on my weapon review videos, as I definitely want to try and show you guys the weapon, showcase the weapon itself, its movement, how it handles, the damage output, without having, you know, a temptation to use another weapon in my games to get out of sticky situations. I want to use the weapon so that you guys can see how it performs. If I get stuck in a situation, or, you know, take a bunch of downs, you have an honest kind of feedback, transparent feedback on exactly how the weapon performs, instead of me using, you know, a Scorcher to get out of a sticky situation. Now, when I first get in, I hit the Wonder Fizz machine like I always do to grab all of my perks. I love running around in tier 3 with all the perks. Now, I'd throw a decoy to do that, and usually this is what happens. A bunch of the riffraff from the decoy, when it expires, make their way over to me, and this was a good opportunity to see how this weapon handles tier 3 zombies at pack 2 legendary. So the next thing to do is to take on a large crowd inside of tier 3 and see how does this weapon perform handling crowd control inside of tier 3 at pack 2 legendary. Now, I did notice the ADS movement speed on this build in particular was a little bit slow. So to increase the movement speed on this build, I ran tack stance, which definitely helps when you're stuck and you need to be dishing out damage as well as moving around. So we can work together in the comment section down below and suggest any changes to the build, possibly to increase some of the movement when ADSing. But I've got you covered with the build, the blueprint, and the camo I'm running in the video, so make sure you watch all the way through so you don't miss out on that. But you can see right here, when I switched to tack stance, I was definitely able to be a lot more mobile, and virtually removes all of the recoil that I was, there wasn't much left with the build, but if there was any left, it's pretty much gone getting into the tack stance. So if you didn't know, you've got a weapon that's a little bouncy for you to use, possibly try running it in tack stance and see if that becomes a little bit more of a viable option for you. But I mean, you can see the carnage that we just did at pack 2 inside of tier 3 was definitely remarkable. You can see the last few scattered zombies that were around from the crowd control that we were doing was not much of an issue to take care of at all, with this just being Pack-a-Punch 2. So seeing this, I wanted to kind of move on and put it up to its maximum damage output. We throw on Pack-a-Punch level 3, throw on mags of holding, so there is no more reloading needed. But again, I want to point out the ammo reserves and ammo count on this weapon is definitely low for running it in the higher threat levels. You're going to be needing to reload and making sure you're picking up ammo off of the zombies that you take out, with only 400 rounds maximum. Now, I did want to show this to George, the Guardian in the Arches, but he's not here. So we moved on, and we did crowd control now at maximum damage output with mags of holding on this weapon inside of tier 3 to see just how viable it is. And even at 80s with the slow movement speed, you are still able to just kind of stand there and just dish out the damage to the crowd in front of you, which is definitely super awesome to see. You also notice the struggle to constantly make sure I'm going back over the zombies I've killed to grab ammo for this weapon. So if you're comfortable, kind of playing like that, I feel like this is definitely going to be something that you will enjoy. Now, I don't know what was going on with this player. Like, I was like, okay, you're going to take over crowd control. Okay, you're down. Give me a second. I'll make my way over and get you up. No, you're up. What were they doing? I was so confused. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, you okay there, my friend? And then he got slapped by the armor zombie. I thought he was going to take it down right there. No idea what was going on with that player, but they moved on. I love the player-to-player interactions inside of MWZ. Now, this match, as you saw when I came into Tier 3, contracts were impossible for me to grab. George was on vacation. So I figured, you know what? We're going to head off to the Season 2 Dark Aether. We don't need a sigil for that. So let's make our way in there, see if we can grab a mags of holding to replace the one that I brought in today. As well, this gives me the opportunity to show you all how the weapon performs inside of a Dark Aether, in that I'm unable to grab a bounty contract inside of Tier 3 today. So we made it off to the top of the hill inside of Tier 3 to activate the Season 2 Dark Aether portal. Now, here I failed dramatically, but if you stow a self-revive and go in with none, when you get into the Dark Aether, it will give you one in your equipped slot, so you'll have an extra self-revive. This also works for lethals and tacticals. So if you have 2 decoy grenades, you bring 1 equipped into the Dark Aether. When you get in here, you will have 2. So that's definitely a way to save yourself a little bit of cash on a self-revive and a Casimir. If you're looking to save some money, you can save about $10,000 right there. So that's definitely a nice tip. Now, I wanted to show you all where the first bounty contract is inside of the Season 2 Dark Aether. For those of you that don't know, turn 180 degrees and make your way into that building upstairs, and that is where you're going to find your bounty contract. Now, if it spawns over here, this is the fastest route I found to make my way over to the bounty contract. So here we are, we've got the Mega Abomination in the area. Now I picked up a jug suit from a crate inside of Tier 3, so I had an extra one on this run, so I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and use the jug suit here in the Season 2 Dark Aether to show you just how effective this is as a solo player to take on a Mega Abomination bounty contract inside of the Season 2 Dark Aether. So we went ahead and grabbed the jug suit right there, and holy, the crowd control that consumed me inside of the jug suit was absolutely craziness. I wasn't even sure, like I thought I might actually get downed while using the jug suit because I was just taking so much hits. There were so many zombies in the area, but I was just, this is the best way to deal with the Mega Abomination bounty contract as a solo player, inside of the Season 2 Dark Aether. Just take in one jug suit with you and you should be just fine to clear out your Mega Abomination bounty contract and hopefully the majority of the crowd control around. If not, this is when you're going to use your tacticals. I threw out a Casimir there as I had 4 and I only need 3 for the Aether Extractor contract. So I used a Casimir to go ahead and grab the Flawless Crystal, the Mega Abomination drop, to get into the Reward Rift, pull out my Elder Sigil, PAP 2 Crystal, and the Self-Revive that was in there. So truly awesome loot on just our first contract. I was really impressed with that. So off to the second one, which is the P&D, the Outlast contract inside of the Season 2 Dark Aether. So I made it over here. I did check the roof of the building as I'm hoping to run this Dark Aether a bunch of times to be able to show you that you can get a circuit turret on top of the P&D building, which can definitely make this contract a heck of a lot easier to complete. But I mean, you can definitely see with the Season 6 buff to this SMG, the damage output is truly remarkable. I mean, we're inside a Dark Aether Season 2 P&D Outlast contract, standing and delivering the damage to the herd inside of the Dark Aether. So definitely awesome weapon. Definitely a viable option to be running. I firmly believe inside of our Zombies game modes. Like I said, as long as you're okay with making sure that you head back over the stuff that you've killed to make sure that you have enough ammo. As I said, the maximum ammunition you can have in this weapon is 400 rounds. So it can definitely get burned through that pretty quickly, being an SMG, and you can shoot it pretty quickly. Now, if you don't have mags of holding, it's the biggest magazine you can get is a 50-round magazine, which is a drum mag, and Pack-a-Punch that gets you 100. So again, you know, 4 magazines and you're going to be out of ammunition, so this definitely will go through it pretty quickly. Now, my strategy in here, as you've seen me do before, is kind of mantle over and top over these countertops, as the zombies can't go over them. They do have to run around them, so you can kind of, you know, train, so to speak, your zombies inside of this Dark Aether a little bit to make things a little bit easier. And right at the end, I wanted to focus in fire on that Disciple just to get rid of it. Contract finished. We got a VR case and a couple things that I did not need out of that. So we're off to grab the final contract inside of the Season 2 Dark Aether, which is the Aether Extractor contract. Now, I have 3 Casimirs left in order to be able to complete this contract, as Casimirs make easy work of this contract. So over to the first extractor. I throw my Casimir right down at the base of it and then interact with the phone to override the extractor, and that is one complete before that Casimir is done, which makes this incredibly easy. And then we were pushing forward to the second extractor, and plates were an issue, and I took it down right here out of nowhere, which kind of surprised me, to be honest. I'm not sure where I got that hit from. I think it was the Mangler that just jumped down from the roof to my left. I'm not sure. But just drop the energy mine. Like I said, don't let downs bother you. I had a couple extra self-revives, so no worry. Fire off the Casimir at the base of the extractor. Go ahead and activate the phone and make sure you override that one. And now we've got one left, and I still have another Casimir left for this final Aether extractor to complete. So I simply pushed out and around to kind of pull out all of the zombies and riffraff away from the Aether extractor. Didn't do the greatest job of it, as I almost took another down on my way in here. Dropped off Casimir right at the base and fired up the Aether extractor phone to go ahead and override that, and that is all 3 contracts complete inside of the Season 2 Dark Aether. I put down my energy mine, and pro tip, if there's too much loot underneath the reward rift, look up. You should be able to see just the reward rift prompt there. So definitely an awesome run, definitely a viable option for all of us to be using inside of our zombie game modes across all 3 threats inside of the standard map, and definitely something to be running inside of the Dark Aether. The only thing I will point out as a downside to this weapon is the reserve and the ammo size. With 400 as a maximum ammo, it's definitely something you're going to notice. But if you're okay with that, this is definitely an awesome weapon to run. Now, this is the build that I put together for today's video. So if you guys are looking to make some changes, maybe to help out with that ADS movement speed, let's work together down in the comments section to make that happen, so that we all have one amazing build to be using inside of our Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games. Now, the camo that I used, I wanted to show you guys, is Orion from MW2, and it is a mastery camo right there. And the blueprint that I was running on the ISO-9MM is from an MW2 spawn bundle, I believe. So we'll show you guys that. Make sure you are subscribed so you're in for the Black Ops 6 Vault Edition giveaway, liking and commenting on the videos for your best chance. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.